Have you ever been to a country where eating beef could get you killed? Well, I'm in India, the land of the holy venerated cow, the greatest cliché known to every foreign traveler. Here, major burger franchises like McDonald's only serve chicken and fish, no beef burgers. Sounds reasonable in the country with the world's largest vegetarian population, where the Hindu majority practice a religion in which the cow is sacred, making it safe to assume that eating beef is a serious no-no. So imagine my shock when I found out you can eat beef here. Let me take you down the beef rabbit hole based on my own observations, trying to make sense of India's not-so-holy cow paradox. And it all started with a steak sandwich in Goa.
It's time for a little snack here. I haven't seen this one before. We got Willie's Goan fast food here. Namaskar. Aap kaise ho? ठीक है? अच्छा, अच्छा.
आप कैसे हैं?
या क्या है? Bojan.
Steak bread. Steak bread.
Steak bread?
Big steak.
Is it meat? Is it non-veg?
Yes.
Yeah? And it's like beef in there.
Beef.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll egg. Oh yeah, धन्यवाद. आपका नाम? Fatima. I'm Pedro. Nice to meet you. Fatima, another non-Portuguese. Hello. Here we go. Beef steak. So is this typical Goan? Because it has beef.
Yes.
So this is Goan.
This is the first time I ever tried beef in India, but it being available in Goa is easier to explain since Goans probably have the most divergent culture compared to the rest of India. Also, meat, including steak sandwiches, is a big part of Portuguese cuisine, and for 460 years up until 1961, Goa was a Portuguese colony, so a lot of cultural influences stuck. Did you know that they celebrate Carnaval in Goa? And there's even bullfighting. Also, many tourists flock to Goa, so things can be a bit more easygoing compared to the rest of the country. For example, alcohol is widely available everywhere for low prices.
75. 75. That's alcohol prices in Goa, huh?
Yeah.
Anywhere else in India, it's double the price, huh?
This in contrast to some states where alcohol is banned or regulated. So millions of Indians visit the state every year to unwind. But weirdly enough, eating beef felt like the more illegal thing to do.
So there you go. Steak sandwich.
But here's the catch. The steak sandwich I had was made with buffalo meat, which is also known as cara beef. So instead of cattle, they slaughter water buffaloes. This often seems to be the case when eating beef in India. And the first time I found out that some bovines are more equal than others was in the madness of Mumbai.
We have a butcher here. Assalamu alaikum. This is beef. Vakara. No vakara, no? Never the goat, always the beef. Now I'm not sure if Muslims, Muslim Bojan Vakara. Nay. Beef, only beef.
They butcher buffaloes because the slaughter of cows is banned in the majority of Indian states. And in some of those, even the transportation of cows is illegal. So that's why millions of cows roam freely all around India, but it's not always out of sheer respect or veneration. Most of them are old and have stopped producing milk, so they aren't of economic use anymore. They have been abandoned and left to their own devices to spend their retirement on the streets. Many survive only because they are fed by locals.
Look, here. Here. Over there. Oh, there's your friend. Look, they're over there. The chippies are over there, cow. Look. Oh, what's going on, cows?
Or by rummaging through the trash. Others just starve. You'll often find these buffalo beef butchers in Muslim majority areas, and in my experience, the greatest variety of meat dishes are served at Islamic food markets.
You have a good biryani, beef biryani.
Yeah, beef biryani.
Oh, okay, let's have a look at that. Namaskar. Salam. Beef biryani. Oh, look at that. I have never tried a beef biryani before. 1, 2. Hey! Whoa! Biryani. Beautiful. It's like a stew meat, a stew beef.
Muslims follow different cultural and religious rules than the Hindu majority of India. Interestingly enough, Muslims also have a special relation with a certain animal that they don't eat, but for completely opposite reasons. Where in Hinduism, the cow is considered the sacred nurturing mother cow, a symbol of non-violence and compassion, encompassing all demigods. In Islam, pigs are considered impure, unclean, and therefore eating pork is considered haram, meaning forbidden. What causes friction between the two religious communities is that it's not always clear whether the meat being sold at Islamic markets is buffalo meat. And even I have sometimes suspected that it might be cow meat. And some people will seemingly say so, but I can't be 100% sure, since beef and cara beef are often used synonymously.
We got the meat market here.
Meat.
Fresh meat here.
Fresh.
Beef.
Beef.
Beef? Real beef.
Beef.
So it's Hindi here. Okay.
In part, it is this distrust that has led to the rise of violence enacted by so-called cow vigilantes, who take it upon themselves to beat up and sometimes even kill those who are suspected of being in possession of cow beef. Gangs of cow protectors operate like a vigilante police force, roaming around inspecting trucks and buildings, all in the name of the holy cow. Unsurprisingly, many of these attacks take place in the largest beef-producing state in India. Yes, you heard that right. India produces beef. But more on that later. There are Hindus who still hold a deep historic distrust towards Muslims. In the West, we tend to be only familiar with the British imperialism that ruled the region for about 200 years. However, before the British, various Islamic empires invaded and occupied historic India for roughly 100 to 1200 years, depending on the specific region of the subcontinent.
As we leave the temple, it's quite fitting that the mosque next door begins the prayer. Many peoples have come down into the Indus Valley. Over the millennia, those were the Islamic invasions of India, and then settled down here for hundreds of years and became intertwined with Indian culture. Islamic and Hindu culture coexisted together here. Not that it came from a peaceful place initially, Bakari. So, from what I understand, maybe up to 40,000 Hindu temples been destroyed, disappeared.
The Mughals, the last Islamic empire to rule before the British, occupied almost all of today's India, except for the most southern and northeast parts. A very complex, simplified long story short, the British left, but not all Muslims did.
All the masjids, all the mosques are doing the nizam. And all the sounds just move up the hills and the mountains.
The tolerant and accepting nature of Hinduism made it possible for both communities to coexist over the many centuries.
Thank you. Netherlands. Netherlands.
We're Indians.
I know, I can see. Namaste. Jai Shri Ram. It makes me happy to see smiling faces. Trust me, today I'm very happy with smiling faces. Have a good day. See? Those are the nice faces. That's India, bro.
But not all Hindus agree with that.
But this is our traditional language.
Yes, very
This is a
nice.
way to remember our God.
Our God and
Acha.
our tradition, our culture, our gods. We love him
I know.
very much.
That's very
Where are
good.
you from?
Netherlands.
Netherlands.
Yes.
Man, now you got one person selected. What's his name?
We are because we are cricket champions.
No, not cricket champion. Your
We are-
recent politician got selected. What's his name?
Narendra Modi?
No. He supported Nupur Sharma. We like that person. He's a right winger. Recent election. We like that fellow. You just convey the message to your country people. We like that people. We like that person.
Okay.
Indian like that fellow very much. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he knows where the problem lies.
I see.
He is very well aware of what is the root cause of the problem. All the immigrants, they are causing all the havoc over there in Europe. What is the ideology behind that? He knows all the extremism. So we support that person. If you are from Netherlands, just let him know.
I'll tell him.
Yeah, you let him.
I'll tell Mr. Geert.
In the 21st century, a new form of Indian nationalism is on the rise, one that is less shaped by the ideals of India's former oppressors, that instead focuses more on the cultural and religious ideals of Hinduism. But in the modern age, this is leading to religious confrontations between the old and new ways. Eventually, I discovered that beef isn't just sold in Islamic markets, and that there are states where all bovines are actually equal, even the holy cow. As we travel to India's northeast, where the story takes a wild turn. In the city of Kolkata, I dined at a steakhouse where they served sirloin steak. When I asked where the beef came from, they told me that it was cow beef. That really surprised me, because up until then, I had assumed that legal beef was always going to be buffalo meat. And on top of that, West Bengal is a Hindu majority state.
I am a peaceful soul.
Peaceful soul.
I am a soul, but not a body.
Acha.
Yes,
And one day, just the soul go.
soul.
Soul go. Body bye-bye.
Body bye bye.
Like in the river, dissolve.
But maybe it shouldn't come as a surprise, since it was in Bengal where the Indian independence movement began, where the secular seeds were sown for future Indian democracy.
You know, the airport here is called Chandra Bose Airport. Is he very famous here, Chandra Bose?
Boss.
Is he from here? He's the guy that it was, you know, it's not, I said it before, it was not really Gandhi that liberated India. It was Chandra Bose. It was Bose, Mr. Bose. And he is everywhere. The airport is named after him and there's statues of him everywhere.
You got a good story about him, huh?
Calcutta is like Liberation City then, in a way.
And since their independence in 1947, Indians take great national pride in being the largest democracy in the world.
I'll get you in the shot with the flag, with glorious Hindustan. Yes. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
So West Bengal is probably one of India's most liberal states. I've even heard it jokingly referred to as a communist state. As it turns out, West Bengal is one of the few states where cow slaughter is legal, along with some other eastern states and Kerala. This in spite of there being a 1950 constitutional directive prohibiting the slaughter of cows and calves, and a 2017 effort by the Indian government to introduce a wholesale ban on cow and even buffalo slaughter, though the latter was ruled against by the Indian Supreme Court.
Because I was looking for a Modi Bhai house. Modi's house, Modi Bhai. I wanted to see his house.
I don't think he lives here.
I think he lives here somewhere, no?
So India seemingly doesn't have a national law banning the slaughter of cows and leaves it up to the individual states to decide. And some of those states really don't want to be told what to do. If you think American states are wild, then you should learn about Indian states, which are like literal countries, each with its own culture and thousands of years of history, some of them having been dominant empires in the past.
So, here we are going to enter the massive fortress built in the 16th century by the mighty Vijayanagara Empire. We have mentioned them before.
So, are things changing in India, or have they always been this way? I'm not sure. What I do know is that India is rapidly growing into its own version of modernity.
This is the rapidly changing India, this section here. This could have been any part somewhere in the Randstad or anywhere else in Europe or the US.
Economic growth goes hand in hand with an expanding, liberalized middle class. So cultural growing pains are pretty much guaranteed for many decades to come in India, as the old and new ways clash in the Indian culture wars.
Hold up. Is this modern middle class Indians digging through cheap knockoff clothes in front of the Lacoste store? That is not very much modern India right there.
In any case, there are already Hindus who eat beef. Or maybe there always have been. But it's this rampant economic growth that highlights India's greatest irony, and maybe even hypocrisy, depending on who you ask. Namely, that many of the states produce beef, making India the second largest beef exporter in the world. Holy cow. Although it is true that most of it is cow beef, buffalo females are of course still cows. And along with cattle and bison, they are all part of one big happy bovine family. This is in stark contrast to the majority of Islamic countries where pork production and export is minimal. But such are the ways of economic progress. Not only does it tear through jungles, but also through cultural and religious sensitivities.
Look at this, the progress of India. So now you get these massive infrastructure projects in this beautiful state, and not everybody is happy with that. But you know, that's that balance. The whole progress thing, right? You win and you lose at the same time.
This is the paradox I stumbled upon in India, revealing one of its many complex internal divides, deeply rooted in controversial historical, religious, cultural, political, and economic dynamics.
Yeah, we're definitely back in a big Indian city.
It is impossible for me to tell the full story, nor do I pretend that I have, after speedrunning some of India's most polarizing issues. And all because I ate a steak sandwich.
I like these Goan steak sandwiches.
As a foreigner, I did not expect to find beef on any Indian menu. Yet I ended up learning that beef is part of Indian cuisine. And at the end of the day, I'm just here to enjoy tasty food. Now, the discussion regarding the current and future legality of all beef is out of my hands and is better left to locals. Let us know in the comments what you think about the beef situation in India. And to foreigners watching, does beef consumption in India surprise you? But that's India for you, where 1.4 billion people each have their own values and opinions, where the states pretty much represent over 28 different countries, each state being extremely diverse, with its own culture, language, and rich history. A foreigner will never fully understand its inner workings, but it's interesting to experience these contrasts firsthand, in the land of the holy cow. Watch this next video for more roving experiences, or watch one of the full episodes from the clips used in this video. You'll find the links in the comments and description.